As Donald Trump prepares to surrender to New York authorities on Tuesday, what's his new reality going to be as the first former president of the United States ever to face criminal charges? Joining me now is Mary Trump, the host of the Mary Trump Show podcast, the author of Too Much and Never Enough, How My Family Created the World's Most Dangerous Man, and The Reckoning, Our Nation's Trauma, and Finding a Way to Heal. She's also the niece of Donald J. Trump. Mary, my friend, it's always so good to see you. You know, you and I, we've talked a lot about accountability on TV and off the screen and what accountability means. In light of Friday's news of the return of an indictment against your uncle, do you think that we are finally seeing the beginning of true accountability for Donald Trump?
I certainly hope so, Katie. I think this is a long time coming. And, you know, there are a lot of people who have been waiting on the edge of our seats for years now to see the dam finally begin to break. And I think New York is a really good place for this to start. Now, I think it's fair to say that Donald will never be truly held accountable for many of his crimes, including his egregious and malicious mishandling of COVID, for example. But I don't think that we should diminish the potential seriousness of what is happening in New York right now. Obviously, we don't know what the charges are, but we will find out soon enough. And I think that this crime, or these series of alleged crimes that Donald may finally face, are foundational to every other charge that he might be looking at out of Georgia and out of D.C.
Well, Ivanka Trump has broken her silence after her father's indictment on Friday. She posted an Instagram story, and I will note it's a story, so as we know, that doesn't last very long in permanency. And in that Instagram story, she said, among other things, quote, "I love my father and I love my country. Today, I am pained for both." Notably silent, though, Mary, at least publicly, is Melania Trump, his wife. Can we expect to see a kind of cool distance by Donald's immediate family, or do you think we're going to see some circling of wagons now that he's finally facing criminal charges?
Well, it's nice to see that Ivanka hasn't figured out screen capture, but yeah, that is about as little as she could possibly have said. I understand that Melania and Donald very publicly had dinner together the night of the indictment announcement. But I don't think that Ivanka and Melania are going to want to be very involved in this. Neither one of them will be vocal about it. I think Ivanka made her choice a long time ago to go her separate way. And she understands that her future does not lie with remaining connected to her father, either personally, publicly, or politically. Unfortunately, on the other hand, we will likely continue to hear a lot from Ivanka's brothers.
Well, that is true, the unfortunately part. Mary, a lot of people maybe don't know, but maybe they do. You've got a PhD in clinical psychology, and you've written that Donald Trump meets all 9 of the DSM-5 characteristics of narcissistic personality disorder, including having antisocial and dependent personality disorder traits. So I have to ask, what kind of impact do you think it's going to have on Donald to be facing not only the threat of possible incarceration, but the reality of additional indictments that are going to be coming down the line?
Katie, I think he's having a very, very difficult time processing this, not simply because of his potential psychological disorders, but because he's never had to face anything like this before, despite decades of wrongdoing. So it's understandable that he would not be able to take this in. I have no doubt in my mind that the thing he's most experiencing right now, besides that disbelief, is a lot of self-pity and a lot of fear. It will come across as anger. But underneath all of that, he's finding this entire experience and the potential for further indictments and everything that could go along with those very terrifying.
Mary, before I have to let you go, in your successful second book, The Reckoning, you talk about how our country has suffered from trauma since its beginning because of racism and white supremacy. But now that Donald has been indicted, do you think this will further the divide in our country and add to our collective trauma?
It will further to the divide in our country, but not because Donald's being indicted. His indictment signals to me that the rule of law is finally prevailing. It has been on life support for a long time, and we need this. He does need to face his own reckoning. What will further divide us and traumatize us is the response on the Republican side. Their dishonesty, their recklessness is something that we really need to grapple with and stem as far as that's possible, because just the lies coming out of Republican leadership are really going to do serious damage if somebody doesn't stop them.